Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
So as we're watching Dr. Phil and getting an insight on Summer Wells, you know, we're paying close attention to every piece of words that are coming out of their mouth. We're paying attention to their body language. We're paying attention to every little detail. We're going back. We're fast forwarding forward. We're rewinding back. And so go ahead and shoot that. So Don Wells on here says the first thing he thought of when he realized his daughter was missing is that she was abducted. That was his very first thought. My question is with that, all that greenery, all that trees, all that whole vast land, your first inclination would be that she was abducted? Not that she was lost. Not that she went out and played and fell asleep somewhere, you know, in a tree, something. Your first thought was she was abducted. And he says that multiple times, that that's his first thought, is that she was abducted. My question is that would have been my first thought, first and foremost. Secondly, why would that have been his first thought? Was he threatened by somebody that he owed maybe money to, that if he didn't pony up, something would happen to his family? If he didn't owe any money, why would that be his first thought? The wife, Candace, has failed and actually got up out of the interrogation with the human lie detectors. The two gentlemen that were there, you know, reading body language and everything else like that, which was a little suspicious because, you know, you're here to try to find answers for your daughter, and especially if you think she was abducted, your first thing would be, you know, selflessness. You're not worried about yourself. You throw everything on the table to save your child, and somebody asks a tough question and you break down and get up and don't want to talk about it and take your microphone off, this is not conduct of people that had nothing to do or don't know anything. Secondly, it was apparent that Don Wells may have been at work during the time. So why is the wife half, Candace, so upset about stuff? To me, just this little bit I've previewed thus far, I believe she knows a hell of a lot more than she's saying she knows. I think Don now knows that she may have been involved, and that's why he's having some body language, eye blinking pattern issues. But if he was not there at the time she disappeared, I think the mom knows exactly what happened to Summer Wells.
Summer Wells went missing on June 15th, 2021. She disappeared from her home at 110 Ben Hill Road in Hawkins County. On her 2-year milestone, we placed this banner on the side of the road. Since she went missing, she hasn't been heard or seen from again. While I was visiting the area, I saw Don Wells working on his truck and asked him if he'd come down and speak to me, which he did. Don Wells and I had a conversation about his daughter Summer Wells and information related to her disappearance. Don Wells maintains that somebody came on the property and took his daughter away. He still believes after all this time she has been abducted. His family came under heavy scrutiny, but they maintain their innocence. One thing Don Wells told me is that they have no new leads into anybody that could have been responsible or is responsible for the disappearance of his daughter Summer Wells. Many people across this country want to know what happened to Summer Wells. Where is Summer? If you have any information related to the disappearance of Summer Wells, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Well, hello, my beautiful people of YouTube and Twitter. Dun, 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 dun. I was having some technical difficulties, and if you've seen a live pop up and pop down, apparently 2 lives set themselves up at the same time through whatever. I don't know how it did, so I deleted one of them. Well, when I came in here to go live, it was only going live on Twitter. It wouldn't let me connect to YouTube. So I don't know if it connected or not. I have literally no idea. So either way, we're here. I'm glad 70 people found us. I decided to run some skits on Summer Wells because, as many of you know, Summer Wells is still missing. We've just ran some lives on Layla Santinello, which went missing in Kingsport on June 27th, 2023. And Summer Wells went missing on June 15th. 2023 or 2021. So it's very close in proximity to the time when Summer had went missing several years previously. And a lot really still hasn't changed from the time that I started this case to now. There hasn't been a whole lot of changes in the Summer Wells case. The people, the house is still the main. Everything goes right back to the mountain. There's a lot of things that can't be explained, such as, why Summer didn't scream if she was being abducted, why If she ran off and got hurt, why she didn't scream back at her mom when her mom was calling her. There's just a lot of questions that have never been satisfied in my mind, as well as the public's mind, and I'm sure law enforcement's mind as well, because they have maintained for well over 2 years that there is absolutely, unequivocally no evidence of an abduction on that property, which is very concerning even after all this time. So I just wanted to take a few minutes. It was probably about 4 minutes and 20 some seconds, just to pay tribute to Summer Wells, another beautiful soul out there in Tennessee that is missing. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get on into the conversation about the mystery that we've all been kind of following, the last couple months, at least on this channel. So I'm going to say good morning or good evening to everybody. I see there's like over 100 people that have responded in chat, or 100 comments at least. So God bless you. Miss Margaret, good morning. Kathy, good morning. Good Lord. Good evening. All right. Kathy B, nice to see you. It's me, Jen B, Betty fan, Ronnie. It's nice to see you here, Love Bug. Tammy, Jules, good evening. Mel C, it's nice to see you. JB's mama. Let's see. Who else do we got in the house? I think I said hi to you, Tammy. Sonia, good evening. Old Rusty is up in the house. I see Angela's here. Hello, Angela. It's nice to see you. Gigi for life. Who else we got? Sweet Misery. Talking about Sweet Misery. I've got to find that link. I know you sent it to me. I will be on Sweet Miseries this Saturday. So just in a few more days at 8 p.m., we're going to be discussing another quadruple homicide out in Idaho. It's one that it's a little different. It has some interesting arguments, to say the least, for the circumstances surrounding it. So I do hope you guys, if you haven't subbed up to Sweet Misery, if one of my mods want to drop her link down in here, we're just going to have a true crime discussion. It's not going to be, she's going to be, I'm kind of one of those people that are easygoing. So I just kind of go with the flow. I've never been on her channel before, so I don't know what her design is. And so I'm not going to go peek under the hood too much, but we'll see what goes on when we get there, right? You never know. It's always fireworks, right? It's always about the experience, the adventure. Connie, it's nice to see you, Love Bug. Oh Lord, who else do we have in the house? Pebbles, hi, it's nice to see you. I think I already said hi to you, Sonia. And if I missed anybody else, because I know there's like 100, Carrie, I saw Carrie, November Rain. It's nice to see you, November Rain. Who else do we have? I'm trying not to miss anybody, but I think I might have. If I missed anybody, guys, just a blanket. Hey, Kimberly, it's nice to see you. Just a blanket hello. It's nice to see you. I wanted to let you know that I did get this, and I know we're talking about it, but it's something I stumbled across that I forgot. Because I think the last time we really discussed Brooks Houck was when he was going to his sentencing hearing, or not sentencing hearing, his bail hearing. So, but there was an appellate process, because it just came out like a few days ago, like within the last week, related to Brooks Houck. Remember, he had that massive $10 million bail. And it was the largest bail that they had ever had in that area. And the prosecutor argued that it was based because, his wealth, and he could definitely leave the country if need be. He has the ability, and I think moreover, the argument was he has the ability to proffer this money for his bail if he wants to get out. So they're basically wanting to make sure that he is financially strapped. If he comes out of that jail, he's hard up, so he can't, run from the law. These are significant charges. And I really do believe their investigation really is just beginning. And I truly believe that there may be elevated charges, because it sounds like he might have been involved with some other kind of shenanigans, some crimes. I mean, I'm personally whiffing some organized crime here. I haven't located it yet. I can tell you, I've been working literally around the clock trying to find it. I've got the reason why I've been having such lag is because I got like 18 million screens open here because I have been doing a lot of research. A good receive. What is that? I don't know what that meant, but it's nice to see you, Lexi Texi. I like that name. It's cute. I like that name. It's cute. So anyways, he had this hefty bail, and it was the largest they've ever had in their history. The prosecutor was trying to justify it, and apparently they decided to appeal that to reduce it. Well, listen here. This all came out in the last week. And then we're going to go back in time, of course, because we need to discuss this case. But it says right here, the Office of the Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced that Kentucky Court of Appeals upheld the order fixing Brooks Houck's bail at $10 million. In September 2023, a Nelson County grand jury indicted Houck for complicity to murder in connection with the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Rogers had been missing from her Nelson community since July 2015 and is presumed dead. And it goes on with, the story, but I'm not subscribed to this particular publication, and therefore that's about as all I could possibly look into. I wasn't going to pay the fee to get whatever. So that was just the statement from them. So getting back to this. Now, many of you know I'm just racking my brain. And I did pull out. You guys are going to love this. I did pull out the tin hat. Is it going to let me lace it? There we go. Okay. I am in the tin hat. Okay. I am in the tin hat tonight. Okay. I'm going to take it off now. But that's where we're going with this, because this is so far bizarre. Okay. I've been trying to find out. It's driving me nuts that I cannot link why Jason Ellis was. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and put that. Actually, I should probably do that. The crazy laugh, the padded room laugh. That's what I call the padded room laugh. This is the goofy laugh. This is the padded room laugh. Up every time. Every time I play this one, I just can't. It's just an evil laugh. It's just an evil laugh, okay? And then, of course, okay. I know. My faves. Those are my faves. So I've been racking my brain. I have to be honest with you. So this whole thing with Jason Ellis it's sucking me in a little bit. I have to be honest with you. I was telling my mom, I was talking to my mom about this stuff. And I was telling her, I'm like, Mom, I said, I got to tell you, I got to be really careful about this stuff because, I'm digging so deep. I just want to make sure I'm not going into a rabbit hole. I mean, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting too conspiracy theorist with this, this like pursuit of the connection. It's literally driving me nuts. I can't figure it out. I keep trying to go back. What would be so significant that a man is ambushed and shot multiple times, And I just can't, there's only a few things that get you dead like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's in a gang. It's what kind of cases, the next thing is what kind of cases was he, involved in at the time? We know that he had some things going on that kind of threw his schedule really weird that night. So it implies only somebody close to him would know. Betty, I have some great ideas to help out with some really cute ideas. Oh, okay. Well, that's great. I'm not sure. I think I'm a little lost on that, but yeah, you can send it. I'm happy to chat with you and give you my number, whatever. Bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. So anyways, I'm racking my head about this. And remember, I was talking about, I'm looking into because we read that Oxygen article, And the Oxygen article basically said that there was an inmate that might have some knowledge. The knowledge wasn't corroborated yet. However, they basically said that this was related to storage units and businesses being, high-end stuff such as antiques and drugs being stolen from them. So I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds like something that you might get ambushed and shot over, especially if it's a organized enterprise like a crime ring or a gang or something like that. Yeah, I can see that happening. So we listened to it, and we kind of talked about the information that we were reading and hearing and watching and everything like that. And so I decided to dig in and look and see how many of these storage units, or, I mean, you got to think, I mean, this is a cop. He just got ambushed and shot to death. So certainly there's got to be like hundreds of these things going on. There's got to be some major something going on in Bardstown, so much so that an officer got his life taken for it. So I'm looking for big stories. So I'm looking for heists. I'm looking for, storage thefts. I'm looking for large, high-end business thefts. I'm doing a lot of these searches, trying to see what's going on in Bardstown at this time. And I'm doing a range. It's not like I figured that it most likely had to have been going on before this ambush, right? Or it was stuff that was being planned and finished after the ambush. So I'm trying to look at this at all different angles and trying to find this criminal element, because in my mind I removed the love triangle out, because I haven't found anything that remotely screams love triangle. Like he was ambushed because either he or his wife were having an affair and a jilted lover, or they're jilted lovers, because when you have a love triangle, there's usually somebody that doesn't know about something. So there's just nothing there that suggests that in this story. So could it be true? It absolutely could, but I'm not going to focus on something that there's literally nothing there on. We do have some evidence of some illegal conduct, and that was kind of sniffed about during the Nick Houck interrogation, where he talks about a property and how his brother owns it. He was adamant his brother paid for this property, yet it's in his mother's name. That's really, it's just odd. It doesn't bode with good financial sense. So that's a little odd for me. And so that's when I started saying, this feels like there's a little bit of organized crime. Then when that Oxygen article came out, it kind of solidifies that, even though the Oxygen article, I don't believe that to be the case. So I'm looking around to find out what's going on in the entire state of Kentucky around this time that could possibly be something. And there's only a few things that were going on in and around this time, and I don't know if they have anything at all to do with the connection here. But this is where the tin hat comes in. Because during this whole entire time, there was an actual pipeline. I forget this because it's been so many years ago. But you guys remember that Florida used to be a hotbed for pill mills, right? There was a lot of people over here doctor shopping and going to our pharmacies and picking up high quantities of hydrocodone, oxycodone, OxyContin. You say it, or you think it, you name it. It was a prescription. There was a doctor that was ready to write a prescription and ready to hand you the entire pad. I don't know what it was. It was must have been getting some buku commission. It was just something really, really crazy. So there was a pipeline that actually came from Florida and into Kentucky. But there was like a ring leaders from like 28 people a part of this ring. And they talked about this, when you read the articles about this pill pipeline coming from Florida to Kentucky, they talked about how smooth of an operation it was, that it was so smooth of an operation. Oh, shoot. I hit the wrong person. Hold on a second. I hit Rusty. Give me just a second. If somebody wants to undo Rusty, that'd be great. It was green. Hold on a second. Let me get over here. Yeah. Let me go ahead and, do you guys not have the ability to delete, timeout, unhide user? Okay, perfect. It's hidden. I thought I got Rusty. I think I got Rusty. Hold on a second. I think. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, but hide, add, message delete. Sorry, old Rusty. I am very, very sorry about that. There you go, old Rusty. I didn't realize you weren't wrenched either. So I accidentally kicked old Rusty's. I accidentally deleted old Rusty's comment. Sorry about that. Wah, wah. Sorry about that. You can retype your comment. I don't even know what it said. But getting back to this, so there was a pill mill going on, and it had been going on for some time. I want to say it was going on long before 2008. I don't know. It was going on for some significant time, but it started being broke up. Listen to this. The people in this, 21 of the 28 people in this ring that was funneling these pharmaceuticals from Florida all the way to Kentucky, they were arrested. They started getting indicted right around I think it was 2012. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2012 that they started getting arrested. And I was a little set back. I didn't think it had anything to do with it, but it just gave me a little pause for concern, because this whole drug ring, there was still about 7 people that they never found. And so I keep wondering, is one of those 7 people connected? Because right after that, it seems like there must have been some type of planning episode. I've got to watch this, but there was something that happened right after, within a few months after the death of Jason Ellis. So you have this pipeline that's comes to a complete halt in 2012, and within a year of that, or 18 months, it's between a year and 18 months of that pipeline coming to an end, you have this huge heist over at Pappy's Van Winkle Bourbon Distillery. And this heist over at the Bourbon Distillery is like $100,000 heist that is done just literally about, I don't know, maybe, geez, I want to say like 3 or 4 months, something like that, 3 or 4 months after the death of Jason Ellis. So, it's just, it's not anything that really could be anything or associated with it, but I just didn't see anything going on in Bardstown, Kentucky. I didn't see anything so significant going on in Bardstown, Kentucky, so much so that it justified an officer losing his life over an organized crime situation that happened there. But I'm going to have to take this background off. I don't know if that's what's giving me, but I got to tell you, I've got like 1,000 different things up. So I'm just going to just give you guys a little rundown of what this whole situation is. And we're just going to kind of go back in time and see if maybe this could be connected. This is really all the big stuff that's going on in Kentucky at the time, and in and around the time Jason Ellis was killed. And these are the types of things that I can see somebody losing their life over. $100,000 bourbon heist, that's a lot of money. Knowing of a pill mill, or knowing maybe a person's involvement in a pipeline, like say maybe a police officer that's on the Bardstown police, It just, there are some things that are going on in Kentucky in and around, and it's all going on within about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes from Bardstown. So it's not like out there in the rural country, hour and 15 minutes is, I mean, that's like a normal, in-town visit. That's normal and customary for folks that live out in the country. So it is within driving distance, is what I'm saying. I don't know if it's connected. I don't know if it's connected.
Gained a different type of attention when investigators uncovered someone was stealing. Look.
I think some of the questions that came up was, do I really want to do this? And I decided I did because my men and women did a great job on this case. And I wanted to talk about what a great job they did, because a lot of people in this case thought it was a publicity stunt on Buffalo Trace's part, and it wasn't. And then a lot of people thought, well, they'll never solve it. And I looked in the camera at one of the press conferences and I said, we're going to solve this case. Looking back, that was probably pretty stupid, but it was, I was committed to solve this case like we do all the others that we try to solve. And we just got lucky on this one.
Were you able to give input in terms of what you wanted covered in the documentary, or did you just do the interviews and they had the final say? Okay, so what did you think about when you watched the finished product compared to what actually happened in real life?
Well, obviously it's Hollywood. They're going to do what they need to do to make it a little more sexy. There are some things that they left out that probably was pretty important to put in my opinion. And then there's things that they put in there that never happened. So it was interesting to see how different that was.
Love documentaries.
Based on what really happened and what, Hollywood did. Kind of comes out like that. All three of the shows that they did kind of glorify, but they all three got caught. So I thought that was kind of interesting too.
So, I mean, it's just, it's about, they did make a series about this distillery. And I wanted you guys to see one more clip kind of about the heist and the distillery and the documentary. Hold on, let me put it up.
Called the Bourbon King, the so-called ringleader of Pappygate, when tens of thousands of dollars worth of bourbon was stolen right from the Buffalo Trace Distillery.
And now a documentary on Toby Kurtzinger debuts on Netflix today. He sat down with WDRB's Dalton Godby to tell his story and share his thoughts on the film.
Everybody basically at one time has took a bottle home, has drank something on the job. It's kind of hard to explain unless you work there. It's kind of like the culture, if you want to call it that. Everybody done it.
Sorry, I'm having some technical issues.
You say the scheme has been going on for at least 7 years.
To know Toby Kurtzinger, you must know his story.
This is a different case. You folks in the courtroom are the reason why this is a different case.
Officials believe Gilbert Kurtzinger was the ringleader.
For the love of money is the root of all evil. Now, I believe that's a very true quote.
Yeah, kind of experienced that firsthand.
Yes, I have.
In 2013, hundreds of bottles of Pappy Van Winkle went missing from Buffalo Trace Distillery. There were other bourbons police say disappeared too, valued at over $100,000. Several people were arrested. Toby Kurtzinger was labeled the ringleader. He spent 30 days in jail and was then released on shock probation.
The Kurtzinger residence was a home for bulk orders of steroids, for large quantities of Pappy Van Winkle storage, barrel storage. That is a bold-faced lie. I'm telling you right now, if you have seen the stuff that I've seen go out that gate, go in the drain, or get broke, it would blow you away, man. But it all got smoothed over. No, until this 2013.
Kurtzinger tells WDRB that this was routine at Buffalo Trace Distillery. He says he was introduced to drinking on the job and taking bottles when he started in the warehouse at 19. He admits he did take Pappy, and he did steal.
Was it right? No, I mean, I look back on a lot of things that I regret and I wish never happened, but, they did, and I've got to own it, and I got to live with it.
But he says there are questions left unanswered. Kurtzinger says he didn't take what they said he did. Wasn't a leader of some bourbon theft ring. Netflix's new documentary, Heist, features 2 episodes dedicated to telling Kurtzinger's story, the Bourbon King.
A lot of people look at, oh, I wouldn't do that. Really?
So to know Toby Kurtzinger is to know the Bourbon King story, one he hopes the documentary paints as him taking the fall for a messy distillery culture.
If I'm going to go down, I said, I'm going to go down the way I want to go down.
As the king.
Yeah, might as well.
And
So he's basically saying he's not the one that did the heist. You know, he's basically saying that he was railroaded. And I was looking at the reports, and the barrels that they pulled out, well, they were Wild Turkey. They weren't Pappy's bourbon. So the more I'm digging in, excuse me, Jules, I hope you're feeling good. I just read that everybody's telling you to feel better, so I hope you're okay. I just wanted to tell you, if you're not, I'll put you in my prayers, and I love you, my friend. But the whole Pappygate is a little odd for me because, you know, I'm sitting here thinking this would be what somebody would get themselves killed over if they mess around and start sniffing around. Because again, this happened months after. So here it is, 5 months, less than 5 months after he was murdered, this heist happened. So Jason Ellis was murdered May 25th, 2013. And the Bourbon heist, according to the records that I've been able to find, supposedly happened October 2013. That's really close in proximity. Now, again, this is an hour and something away from Bardstown. But I have searched high and low for this criminal element, this criminal enterprise in Bardstown with the warehouses. I even went as far. Hey, Miss Ann, nice to see you. I went as far as to just search, you know, thefts, just general old-fashioned thefts to see if anything really popped up. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff that popped up, but nothing that screened big enough for a law enforcement officer to be ambushed and killed. He was a drug cop, but he also did he also did impaired driving. He was the canine officer, and there was something else about Jason Ellis that I didn't put on this list that actually implied he was doing other types of work with the dogs by way of, I think, golly, I can't remember, burglary. Let's see here. I think this might be it. Let's just read over the incident with Jason Ellis. I think that might be beneficial for everybody as well. Just kind of everybody getting, and there was another drug cop that was killed in Nelson before Ellis. Okay, let me write this down. Now, when you say drug cop, do you refer to drug cops as the ones with canines? So it's a canine unit? Is that what you're referring to as drug cop? Or was he just a drug cop without a canine? I just want to make sure I'm referring to this so I can look it up properly. If it's a canine unit, it doesn't. I get what you mean by drug cop, but it's really a canine unit. And you said if that's the case, a drug cop, I'll just write both of them down, and that's Nelson County. And you said that happened before there was another drug cop that was killed before Ellis. All right. If we have time, I'll start looking that up while we're here. Nick probably killed Ellis. Crystal found out, etc. There's something. But I'm trying to find out why Nick killed him. You know, there's got to be some reason for Nick killing him. And you know, the other thought was, in all honesty, was a political jealousy because you know, this guy was like really a rising star. I mean, he had some. He started there. But Jason served on the Bardstown Police Department since 2006. So he came to the Bardstown Police Department in 2006, and he was just this amazing rising star. And it says within 3 years he received the governor's award, but that's not really true. It was basically he received the governor's award according to the dates that they have in his bio here on the policemuseum.org. Doesn't say within 3 years because he received the governor's award for impaired driving enforcement in 2007. That was just a year after he started with the force in 2007 and 2008, and was awarded the Officer of the Year award in 2008. And in addition to all of these accolades that he's getting professionally, he becomes the very first department's canine officer, the only unit, the canine unit. Rising Star Jason became the department's only canine officer in 2008 as well, partnering with Figo. I think that's what a Figo. That's Figo. I remember them saying. I can't remember. I remember it was a name that I would not have called him, but I can't. And he was the first in the line of duty death for that department, the first. And I don't think there's been another one, thank God, but that's just, it's awful. It's awful. And to think that there's a possibility of another officer doing it to him is just terrifying, in my opinion. It's absolutely terrifying. Let me see what else is here. No, he wasn't. That's false because Jason was investigating the house. Yeah, well, this is the problem. There's nothing determining, Erica, that I've been able to find, and I've been doing some research now. Granted, I haven't had a chance to research everything, you know, and to be honest with you, I just started looking into this case a few months ago when Joseph Lawson was arrested. That's when I started looking into this. So I'm just now going all the way back and doing some of the research and stuff like that. And I'm just looking at what kind of connection can be had. But here, let me just read this because this is when I realized that, you know, there might be some jealousy here, say from like another officer that may have been there longer or might have thought they did better. And this guy was getting all the accolades, all the pats on the back, because you got to remember Brooks Houck ran for sheriff in 2014, shortly after this man had lost his life by an ambush shooting. There's just a lot of weird stuff. So I can't make heads or tails really what it was. But so far, we haven't made any connection to them physically being investigated. And I do believe that he must have been investigating them for something if they ambushed him and shot him, because there's only two ways that he could, I can only imagine there's only about two ways that he could be connected to the Crystal Rogers case and the Tommy Ballard case, and that's through the Houcks or through the Lawsons. I can't see how that they would be able to, be connected in any other way unless there's a party that hasn't been named that they believe is connected to either Crystal or Tommy that is the connection to Jason, which I don't think it is. I think it's either politically motivated or organized crime motivated by now. And I just think it would be really petty to take an officer out over them doing better than you and you possibly losing an election. That it just doesn't bode well. I'm still leaning toward an organized crime. I believe that he had to have been investigating something. But what was he investigating them for? What was the big thing that they was investigating? I mean, you got to think there's only a few things. I mean, with the IRS there and the organized crime, I was thinking maybe money laundering, tax fraud, tax evasion, drugs. And then when I was looking into how what could possibly this officer be investigating, he is the drug police. So if there was other types of investigations, he might be the one that they would go to. So I was kind of thinking this is where the tin hat comes in. Like if for any reason this Houck was involved, either Nick Houck or Brooks Houck, or both of them. You know, Brooks Houck being the what do they call it? The undisclosed investor or whatever, or, you know, the silent investor. And, you know, what about Nick making way for those traffickers to traffic it into, you know, through that town? What if they were being paid by this organization, or they were the organization? Because there were several people that weren't charged, that they never found, that they know existed, that they never found in that drug ring up to Kentucky. And if that went away around 2012, then maybe Brooks was getting hard up and needed that distillery money, and maybe this officer was poking around. So I don't know. That's kind of where the tin hat comes in, because I truly believe that there's something here, but I just don't know what. And I don't even know if I'm on the right track with the connection, because the connection, again, is an hour away from where this man was gunned down and killed. But I also think, you know, when you're in organized crime or you're doing some high-end hits, you're not going to want to do it in your own county that you're in. You probably would want to have, you know, a county or two away from you to do a large heist, because you're not going to want to be sitting in that community when it's on lockdown and when they're investigating stuff that they don't know you. You don't want them to begin to know you. So I'm thinking that that is a possibility. I don't know, but I know that whatever got Jason Ellis killed had to be pretty stinking big. And again, when everything was going on with the Distillery heist and the arrest of the Distillery heist, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Distillery heist indictments started happening in April of 2015. Just 3 months before Crystal was gunned down and killed. So I'm you know, the Bourbon heist happened in 2013. The indictments for the Bourbon heist happened in April 2015. And Brooks Houck was charged, I think, with, I want to say, his perjury charge in 2015 as well, but I think that was related to Crystal. I think that was related to Crystal. And then after that, he had some thefts from Lowe's, a large shingle shipment from Lowe's that he ended up being charged with. And I don't know how that went, but I if I remember correctly, he ended up getting off on that charge. But I also find it really odd, because I found another case, and these guys look like meatheads, just absolute and utter meatheads. Oh, let me get this out. No, it doesn't need to be up right there. Hold on a second. Let me get this all cleared out. And I've got to find that one. And this was, and the reason why it caught my attention on this particular case is because these guys, they looked like they were some type of organized crime. And it looks like people that he would actually know. And guess what they did? They actually were in the process of robbing none other than a Lowe's for $70,000 worth of equipment and other stuff. Where is it? I'm getting close. I know I'm getting close. I hope I didn't delete it. I don't think I deleted it. Maybe I did. Shit. That sucks. And a principal. Oh, here it is. Hold on, let it get up. There it is. And this I thought was pretty interesting. And this happened June 6, 2012. But these guys look like people that Brooks Houck would know. I don't know why. But I'm telling you, I was like telling my mom, I'm like, man, am I going down rabbit hole here? Because I'm looking for some, stuff that's big enough that would get them in. But what caught my attention with this was from June 2012. And this was a heist because I have to think that if this is an organized crime type of situation, this wouldn't have just happened right when Jason Ellis got killed. This would have been something that had been going on for some time. So I'm looking at any high-end business, any type of large organized crime type of cases. And this one kind of caught my attention from 2012. And this one was thieves caught on camera with $70,000 in stolen goods. And I want to read this article because this is educational article even for our criminals. Our criminals in the back, you might want to get a lesson on what not to do. Okay, don't tell them Bullhorn Betty sent you because I'm a law and order type of gal, but I'm not the one that puts this stuff in the articles. These people tell these criminals how to get away with all this stuff, not me. And it says this is in Jeffersontown, Kentucky, which again, not too far. Caught on camera in Jeffersontown. These are two thieves who they were about to be successful with a big heist, but were busted in the act. It happened a few days ago at the Jeffersontown Lowe's. I just found it funny because it's at a Lowe's, and this is where Brooks Houck stole, all those shingles, those 20 pallets or whatever of shingles. And so I just thought that's why it caught my attention. I wonder if it could be connected. You never know. You never know, right? So police say the thieves tripped themselves up by tripping the alarm, even though they thought they had disabled it. So investigators say that the surveillance video shows two crooks seem to know exactly. This is where the organized crime, because this means they were pros. This isn't the first time they did this, right? They were pros. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. And so when you're talking about a $70,000 heist from a Lowe's, and they know how to disable the alarms, they know how to hot wire equipment to use it to lift up the bay doors to get in there and steal. That is a professional crew. Okay. This is the type of stuff that I'm looking for. This is what I think officers in the country get themselves ambushed and shot for. It's stuff like this. I'm not saying this is it, but we're getting close. It's stuff like this. And all of this stuff is going on in and around the time that Jason Ellis is, right around, either before, a few months before, after, whatever. This was almost a year before, but I expect organized crime to have gone on for many years before it's finally started sniffing around and starting to get, people are starting to notice, so something that happened a year prior to still could be part of an organized element. And this does show you just how professional this crew was, saying that this is a professional crew. You get what I'm saying, right? Professional crew. So I want you to listen to how this was done. And this is why I'm saying this is a professional crew. The investigators say the surveillance video shows the two crooks seemed to know exactly what they were doing inside the Lowe's store. The two men, mind you, were able to do this. The two men, police say, were moving $70,000 worth of big ticket items to the back door in a matter of minutes. It happened overnight on May 27th. This was almost 1 year to the day. Jason Ellis died on May 25th. This happened on May 27th, 1 year prior to. They had power tools. They had drill sets. They had compressors. What are these things? All construction items. Explains Detective Ted Spiegel. They were high-end items worth a couple $1,000s each. Spiegel says 44-year-old Ralph Philpott and 33-year-old Anthony Stinson first got into the building, listen to this, by hot wiring a Lowe's forklift to get into the back door. There was a door in the back of the building that had been pried open with one of the machines at the Lowe's store itself, he said. Spiegel told us the two men worked fast to disarm the alarm and were making good time getting the merchandise ready to go. Says it was nearly the perfect crime. It was nearly the perfect crime. Here's how they got caught. But what they didn't count on is most specialty stores have layers of security systems. So even though you deactivated one, there are certainly several other systems in play. So they have contingency plans upon contingency plans upon contingency plans when it comes to the security at some of these stores. But clearly this team has hit stores and had gotten away with this type of merchandise before. This was a well-orchestrated, well-planned out, and a well-executed hit on a store that almost nearly cost that store $70,000 in construction equipment. Just thought I'd keep throwing that out there. Just thought I'd throw that out there a little bit more. Construction equipment. I'm just trying to say, you know, if you didn't catch the connection, Brooks Houck is a construction guy and he owns a construction business and he has a lot of rental properties and a lot of construction workers that need some tools to use, like $70,000 worth of brand new tools. Or he could be selling them. I don't know. The man's got money buying properties and sticking them in his mommy's name. Don't know where the money's coming from. Just trying to figure it out. Don't know. In the end, the alarm system did what it was supposed to do and did the duo in. Police were quickly alerted for the fast arrest. I'm sure they weren't done, but I think we foiled their plans. Detective says thieves sometimes sell high-end power tools at yard sales and swap meets, and sometimes right on the street. The two men are charged with burglary and criminal mischief. But again, the professionalism, the absolute professionalism of this group of thieves was something that really made me feel organized crime, which is kind of what I'm looking for right now. You know, I'm looking for a bunch of organized crime. I'm trying to find out what could possibly get a police officer ambushed and killed over. And $100,000 Bourbon hits, $70,000 low hits. You know, those are types of crimes that I can definitely see somebody losing their life over. I didn't even think these types of heists exist. I mean, this is freaking Kentucky. We have two in a matter of, well, one was from 2012, another one was from 2013. So that's $100,000 a year in one job. One job. You made your yearly income with one hit. That's something an officer will get their life killed for. How many of these hits do they have a year? You know, I'm telling you, there's an organized crime element here. I don't know where it is, but obviously Brooks is not opposed to stealing himself. And this happened, I think, in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. We'll read it. I can't remember all the dates. Nelson County judge has ruled that Brooks Houck felony theft will be moved 90 miles outside of Bardstown. The judge said, and if I'm not mistaken, he was exonerated from this. I can't remember what happened in this case, but I don't think he got charged with it for some reason. I can't remember. But the judge said Bowling Green is the most convenient location for Houck to get a fair trial because the media attention surrounding the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. While Houck's case has nothing to do with her disappearance, he has been named the main suspect in her case, and he's also the father of her youngest child.
A theft case involving the former boyfriend of a missing woman will be moved 90 miles outside of Bardstown. As WDRB's Fallon Glick explains, Brooks Houck's trial will now be held in Bowling Green. Fallon.
Lindsay, the judge said Bowling Green would be the most convenient location for Brooks Houck to get a fair trial because of all the media attention surrounding the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Now, this theft case has nothing to do with that disappearance, but Houck has been named the main suspect in her case. He is also the father of her youngest child. One of the main arguments to move the case by Judge John C. continuous and extensive coverage by Louisville TV stations. He says the case is also subject to intense social media scrutiny. In court documents, the judge says Bowling Green does not get Louisville TV stations, and therefore it would reduce the chance of exposing jurors to news accounts during the trial. Last summer, Houck was indicted on 4 felony theft charges and 1 misdemeanor charge for allegedly stealing more than 200 bundles of shingles from Lowe's. Now, the court date has not been set.
So clearly he has no problem stealing stuff from Lowe's either. You know, it's a leap. I get it. You know, I'm it's a leap, but I'm looking for large thefts, ones that would, you know, or other organized crimes, large organized crimes, drug deals. You know, I'm looking for some money laundering, some connection. And so I'm looking even at this distillery, you know, this Pappy's. And looking at this Kurtzinger guy, you know, his name's, I can't even remember what his name is, something Kurtzinger, Toby Kurtzinger. And so I'm even looking into, is there a connection with Kurtzingers in Bardstown? And, you know, again, I need to be wearing a tinfoil hat here because, believe it or not, there is. And it could very well potentially be related to Toby. Now, granted, this has nothing to do with bourbon theft, but listen to this. And this is in and around the 2019 area when Brooks is going to court for his Lowe's stuff. This guy here is Wednesday, August 7th, 2019. Detectives with Nelson County Sheriff's Office presented 3 cases against James Christopher Kurtzinger. Below are the summary of the cases. Mr. Kurtzinger was charged with 2 counts of theft. There was this is a Class D felony. 2 separate occasions, Mr. Kurtzinger took money from different victims to complete certain construction jobs. And all these people are around construction and construction equipment and, you know, doing underhanded stuff. And does this mean that this guy is connected to Brooks? He could be a part-time employee. He may not. He may have no connection to Brooks. Could he be related to Toby Kurtzinger? He may have no relation at all with Toby Kurtzinger. I am just looking for any connections from one place to another. This happens to be it. I have not been able to connect to see if this guy's even family with Toby. But I just find it odd that all of these things were going on in and around the time that Jason Ellis was killed. And these were going on in and around an hour drive from the location. So there was something. There was something going on. And I don't know if any of this is related. But there is, it does seem like there is something. And I don't think it's storage units and, you know, business thefts in Bardstown. There's nothing. And when I say nothing, there is nothing leading me to believe that that is the case at all. Nothing. I can't even read anymore without these things on. I see Rick. Oh, is Ricky? Did I just see Rick? Did somebody say Ricky? Sweet Misery says Ricky. Is Ricky in the house? Who's Ricky? What are you screaming Ricky for? What am I missing here? What am I missing here? Don't forget to put your DNA on the like button. Yes. So it is getting, I am like really tired. I had a quite the day. I've been researching the heck out of my day today. My day has been consumed by research, and I made dinner for the neighbor. I made a meatloaf with mashed potatoes and gravy. Oh my God. It was so good. Ricky lives where that happened. Oh, does he? I was just talking about Ricky today. He came across my TikTok. I miss Ricky. I got Ricky's number. I'm gonna have to call him. I'm horrible with calling people. I don't know what, I just get so sidetracked, and I get on the phone with other people, and I stay on the, I'm always constantly calling people all day long. And it's like when I finally get a minute for myself, I just want a minute for myself, and I forget everything else. Even when I put it on the list, I fill up my whole list. I turn the page. I never go back to the page that I fill up. Oh my gosh, I'm awful. So anyways, guys, that's really all I have. If you guys want to start doing some digging into the Jason Ellis case, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm just really looking for big stuff. I mean, stuff that you get that, I mean, think about it. This guy was ambushed. Okay, this was thoughtfully planned out. There's got to be reasons somebody's going to put that much. This was not a crime of opportunity. This was not a split knee-jerk reaction where he was trying to arrest somebody and somebody got scared and just didn't want to go back to prison. This wasn't like that. This was planned and well executed. There's got to be a reason somebody planned and executed a law enforcement officer while he was in his unit, or in his uniform, and while he was heading home to his little kids. Lord have mercy. There's just some evil in this world. There really is. There's just evil in this world. All right, I'm going to go back up and see what I missed. I know I've been reading a lot and talking a lot. So I see Miss Ann. It's nice to see you, love. Let's see what we got going on here. Erica says Jason Ellis was a drug cop from Cincinnati area that was brought to Bardstown. He was the only drug cop and the only drug dog. Yeah, we know that. And then they ended up replacing. Well, I hate saying the word replacing him. They ended up adding 2 additional units to the team after his death, 2, as opposed to 1, because they were planning on bringing on a second one, and then he got killed, so they ended up bringing on 2. Oh, good Lord. Sorry, guys. After being yelled at you. Houck equals drugs. Yeah, I kind of feel that way, but I'm not seeing a huge drug connection here. Outside of that pipeline, there's something with that pipeline that really kind of made me go, because I seen where it stopped in 2012, and these other things were going on with the heist from the Lowe's, and then the Distillery heist. You know what? They said if we were to break down the article, it actually said, what if the heist, the storage unit, was the Distillery? And the high-end business was the Lowe's. I don't know. I still think it's almost too far-fetched for me. Like, I'm having a whole problem trying to digest it, but I feel like there's something big. But whatever's big, there was nothing majorly big that was being broadcasted in Bardstown news around the time that this man died. Period. There was nothing. It does not appear that anything major was going on in the town that would lead an officer to be ambushed and murdered senselessly. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing going on in that town. That sleepy 13,000, population town. So I have to go on the outsides of the town to see if there was anything going on the outskirts on the town that was affecting the town itself, or that could have Brooks or the Lawsons involved in it at all. And the people that are doing these hits seem more in line with the mentality of one of the Houcks than one of the Lawsons. The Lawsons, I'm sorry, just they don't seem very smart people. They don't seem very educated people. They don't seem they seem like they're easily talked into stuff. Obviously, I don't see how any employee would do the stuff that they've done for the Houcks. I just don't see it. Anyways, I'm exhausted, guys. You guys have had me literally all day. It's been a busy day for me because I've been doing so much research, and every time I stumble across something or do this or do that, then I come live. So my day's over. I'm going to call it a day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. 6. Oh, shoot. Am I going to be here tomorrow? Hold on. Let me check my schedule. Okay. Oh, yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. Let me just check one other thing. I think we'll be here tomorrow. The reason I had to check is I had to see when our next meeting was, and we only have a planning meeting. I don't like I should be going to the planning meetings because it's my developer crap. I just don't like developers too much anymore. I don't even know where my schedules are anymore. Where the hell are my schedules on my phone? I don't see one calendar on my phone. How do I not have a calendar on my phone? Oh, there they are. I hate when I move stuff around. Brian's birthday. It looks like it's one of my ex-brother-in-law's birthday tomorrow. Oh, it's Johnny's birthday. It's Johnny's birthday on Friday. Okay, guys. Yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. 6:30 in the morning. I don't anticipate doing 4 lives every single day. This is kind of one of those things where we just had a lot of stuff, but I am going to be working back on some Summer Wells stuff. I really am. Nick Prob killed, found out. I think Nick might be involved in a little more than I think. You know, I keep thinking Nick is the putz of the family. I really do. He's like the disappointment of the family, it seems. I mean, I shouldn't say that because Brooks is the one sitting in jail right now on a $10 million bond for murdering his girlfriend. But when you hear, I mean, he seems really smart, but he tries to play off like the nice guy and the dumb guy. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he quite made it to the level. Like his mom's well-to-do, his brother's well-to-do, and then he's not so much. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the one that lives in, I don't know. He just doesn't live the life that his mom and his brother live. And it seems like he tried. You know, he had his own rental business. He just never could hack it. It seems like he just never could hack it. Nick killed him because Jason was on to his dirty deeds. I think it had to do something with Nick. But, you know, Nick really does protect his brother, though. I mean, think about it. When we looked at those interviews with, between Brooks and Nick, the differences in their personalities and their willingness to help, like Brooks came off as at least him trying to help. You know, he really went out of his way to have the appearance of explaining stuff to the detective, making sure he understood his schedule, making sure he understood all of this extra stuff. And then when you get into the interview, with Nick, he's being a nice guy, but he doesn't know nothing. He just is so uncooperative, blatantly uncooperative. I mean, he didn't want to give them anything. He didn't want to tell them what he ate. He didn't want to tell them what he was wearing. He didn't want to tell them what he was driving. He didn't want to tell them where he was going. He didn't want to tell them who he knew. He didn't want to tell them who he talked to. I mean, he was so blatantly uncooperative. It was just, it was just it makes you wonder, because, you know, you got Brooks' personality that's really going out of his way to help. And then you've got Nick's personality that's just absolutely refusing to assist in any possible way or magnitude. McCubbin brought Jason on. If the drugs being ran through Bardstown, he was the only officer trained with it. See, I'm telling you, it's got something to do with that freaking drug pipeline. It's got to have something to do with that drug pipeline. I'm telling you, that drug pipeline, it just went away. It went away. I mean, they busted it up in 2012. If Brooks was making any money off that pipeline, or Nick was making any money off that pipeline, that money would have started drying up very, very quickly. You know, by 2013, you know, you need to have your payday. You're out of money. You know, money only lasts for so long when you're used to a certain lifestyle. So I don't know. There's just something. I think there might be something with that pipeline. I don't think that he was officially investigating the Houcks, but he was catching on something they were doing. Yeah, because if there was a pipeline, and it might be that pipeline. Because, I mean, if you put the pieces together, I mean, that would explain why Brooks wanted to be sheriff. Because his brother was on the same, think about it, the 4 to 2 a.m. shift. That would probably, the late hours would probably be the time that people would be transporting stuff through. Was he being paid to turn the other way? I mean, there's just so much. There was just so much. Oh, I know who that is. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Yes, I believe that's exactly what happened. All these deaths have Nick written all over them. It just seems something like Nick was doing the underhanded stuff. And maybe, you know, maybe she said, I know what your brother was doing. And he's like, you're going to take my brother down. You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it sounds awful, but I mean, it's probable. I mean, it's possible. It's just, I don't know. Look into the history of the area. Johnny Boone's from down the road. Gravel Switch is split distant. Look up Bluegrass Conspiracy. Yeah. Dirty Cop, tax evasion, possibly running drugs, many things that Jason could have been investigating him under the scenes. Maybe he caught wind of these things he was doing. What if he approached Nick just to gauge him? Because, you know, I'm one of those people, you know, where if I get wind of something, you know, I'm just going to throw it out and just kind of catch you off guard with it to see what your first initial reaction is, what that initial body language, that initial expression, that initial, you know, what you look like immediately when you hear it off guard. Is it shock that you know? Because a lot of people don't realize that instant thing, that body language that you give off, that instant appearance, the person sees it. So could he have done that just to gauge what Nick would do? And it was at that point that Nick knew he was onto him. I mean, you know, there's just so many things. And would it be out of the realm that the wall of blue, that he wouldn't go to him and give him at least the respect that he deserved? Or, you know, just like, you know, hey, I just want to let you know I'm getting wind of this. You know, is there something going on that I need to know about? You know, just giving him that brotherly love. I don't know, but I can tell you it's definitely not being, I just don't see the warehouse panning out as being a big enough of a deal. I mean, yeah, would somebody have gotten in trouble? Yes. But would it rise to the level of ambushing and murdering a cop? I don't know. I really just don't know. Nobody cares about that bourbon. Those guys got out of jail 5 minutes after. I know. They're like the shock therapy or the shock jail program or something like that. I'm like, shock jail program? I was like, you can't. And boy, that sheriff out there, Sheriff Milton, he's so proud of himself too, man. I mean, it's just like, oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. That's all I got to say. But no, I agree with you. I agree with you. But you know what? But it was for the people that were caught. I don't think that they didn't find the bourbon. That guy went to jail. That Kurt Singer guy, he went to jail without having the bourbon. He didn't have the barrels of bourbon. I think they said that they pulled out 3 barrels out of this like makeshift like bunker or something that he had in his ground. If I was reading it correctly, I may have that off just ever so slightly, but he had barrels there. And so they thought when they pulled these barrels out, they said this is more whiskey or more bourbon than you can drink in a lifetime. And it was 3 barrels. But when they tested the contents inside those barrels, it wasn't Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. It was Wild Turkey. So he didn't even have the bourbon. Where did he get these 3 barrels of Wild Turkey? Now, that's a question for somebody else. I have no idea. But it wasn't the Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. So if it wasn't the Pappy Van Winkle bourbon, where's the Pappy Van Winkle bourbon? It's never been recovered. Or I think we did read an article that portions of it might have been recovered or something like that. I can't remember. But at the time that this article was out, none of that bourbon had been recovered. When I read the paperwork, it seemed as if they never had recovered it, even when they went to trial with Kurt Singer. How can they be trying somebody for a crime that he doesn't even have the booze? And the booze that they do have has no connection, and it was scientifically proven, had literally no connection with the Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. So where's the Pappy Van Winkle bourbon? Somebody's got it. Somebody's got $100,000 worth of bourbon, but listen to this. There was an investigation in Bardstown of a teacher. And according to these reports, now the teacher disputes this, but this store owner called the police because a teacher approached this liquor store owner and asked him if they would like to purchase high-end Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. And so the store owner ended up calling in this lead to the Bardstown Police Department, and they investigated it. And this teacher's like, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking. I was asking for high-end Pappy's Van Winkle bourbon. I wasn't trying to sell Pappy's Van Winkle bourbon. And I just thought that was awfully odd. Like, how could a store clerk misunderstand you asking for something versus asking them to purchase something from you? I don't understand how that quite happened. But according to these reports, that's exactly what did happen. And where is it? Is this one it? Oh, that's the Pill Mill Syndicate. I got to read that article to you. Where's the damn teacher? The drug ring. 20 people were indicted in the drug ring, but there was 28, according to them. There's a lot of drug ring type charges in here. And I got to tell you, when I was looking into this, a lot of it's the same stuff, several articles for the same stuff, but I wanted to find the one about. And then we were also talking about that pharmacist. Remember the pharmacist that wrote those prescriptions? I just find all of this kind of a little odd for me. I mean, it just seems like if you really kind of look at it, it's hard not to see some type of connection, whether there's a real connection there or not. But there's a few things here. And in and around this time, the pill mills were the major were the major things in this. There it is. Here it is. I found it. There it is. Right there. Bardstown High School principal speaks with authorities investigating Bourbon theft. The principal. And it says, authorities say Bardstown High School principal Chris Pickett was very cooperative and forthcoming when he met with Franklin County Sheriff's deputies Monday as agencies continue investigating who stole $26,000 worth of Van Winkle bourbon from Frankfurt Distillery. Pickett grabbed attention in recent days after being named a person of interest in the case by authorities. Surveillance video released by the sheriff's office appears to show a man fitting Pickett's likeliness walking into an Elizabethtown liquor store where the clerk said he offered to sell some of the rare bourbon. Interesting. And where does it link back to? Bardstown. I don't know. But Pickett's attorney, Doug Huber, tells WDRB his clients was merely there interested in buying some Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. I don't believe it. No clerk is going to misunderstand that you are there to purchase high-end Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. I'm sorry. I don't see how a clerk can make that horrible mistake. I just don't. Nobody cares about the bourbon. Those guys, yeah. Okay, I got that. And then, if they have connections to the murder here in Louisville. The Lowe's thing was a few years ago, and we all thought he was going down. I know, and then he didn't. It was really weird. I don't get it. I don't get it. There are people from Louisville. They robbed multiple Lowe's and Home Depot. I just keep wondering. I really do. Oh, thank you, Buddy Fan. Thank you. I heard the IRS was looking into him, but they never. I think, with his mother taking that property, like I seen that back in my other years, when I hung out with well-to-do people that did, those types of things. And that's kind of how they did it too. They used the cash and purchased the property and they put it in their parents' names. So there was no link back to them because they had no job and there was no way that they could prove that they had that type of money. They couldn't explain where that money came from. But their parents could because they're older. The government's out of their business. And, it doesn't take long to, $8,000 your way to $100,000, all under the table, all under the, the IRS getting notified and stuff like that. There's ways. I mean, you want to find ways, you find ways. So it's, I don't know. There's just something here. They said when pressed about whether Pickett was still a person of interest, he says, "I'm not sure right now, to be blunt. We tracked down all his statements. There's still a conflict in the story there, and nobody has been ruled out now. Nobody has been ruled out now." Okay, so he's saying that it could be true, it could not be true. So I just thought it was funny that I'm saying that this was a little too close for comfort. And somebody, a principal, so it's probably somebody that's been in the town. I have to look into the principal. Probably somebody that's been in that town for a really long time. Probably somebody that would know the Houcks pretty well. I'm just saying. And just so happens to be walking around asking if somebody wants to purchase high-end bourbon. I don't know. It's just, it's hard not to see this. It's hard not to see this. All right. I don't want to bore you. You guys get my drift. Do your own research, do your own fact finding. We're still on this case. We're still looking through everything. We're still trying to connect the dots. Are we going down a rabbit hole and into wild conspiracy theories, or does some of this stuff hold water? There's a lot of stuff in and around Bardstown, just not right into Bardstown. A lot of petty stuff going on in Bardstown. A lot of petty stuff. There is these storage units and thefts going on, but they're going on by it looks like kids that are on drugs, because I've been able to see how many of these people have been arrested for those crimes. And so just about every storage unit that had been knocked off, everything I could find had a suspect in jail. So it didn't seem like it connected back to Houck or the Lawsons, to be honest with you. No Lawsons associated, no Houcks associated. These were people that didn't appear to be associated with either side. So the whole storage unit and antiques and drugs in Bardstown, if it was happening, media had no clue about it because they definitely weren't putting out articles about it. So I don't know. The only thing I can see big enough that's getting a cop killed is on the outskirts of Bardstown, not in Bardstown. So I don't know. Maybe those people, because I know we have a few people in here that are from the area, maybe start reaching out, start talking to your friends again, seeing if any new information has come out throughout the years that maybe they didn't tell you before, forgot about, or maybe learned over the years. I'm interested in finding out. I want to know what Jason Ellis's connection is to this case. Cops know he's connected. They believe he's connected. I have to say that they have good accord to think he's connected to somehow. So why isn't it very clear to us why he's connected to this? It's not. So far, I haven't seen anybody come in here with a clear, concise direction on how his connection is, where we can corroborate it and say, yep, this is it. It's been corroborated by X, Y, and Z. We haven't gotten there yet. I took a class from Dr. Denton at EKU, and he talked about Bluegrass Conspiracy. He wrote his own book for the class. It was the best class in my college career. Interesting. I'll have to look at that. Well, I appreciate for all the people that were participating in this conversation and gave us some good insight about the knowledge that they have. I really do appreciate that. That's what this channel is here for. We collaborate, we talk about it, we bring stuff up. I'm doing a massive amount of research behind the scenes. I don't know if any of this is really connecting the dots or not, because it's still all hypotheticals. It literally is all hypotheticals. That's why I brought the 10 hat. It's exactly why I brought the 10 hat, because none of this can be corroborated or linked back yet. There's a missing piece here. And I think one of the audience members, or maybe one of the audience members' friends, might have the key, might have the clue. Get to work and get to cracking, especially if you are out there. Oh, that's there we go. That's the cracking of the whip. I can use that. Actually, the face slap. But it also can be a cracking of the whip, can it? Mama Bullhorn with that bull whip. Ow! Ow! All right, guys. Until next time, you guys rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. Until next time, please be kind and please be safe and kind to one another, especially in the comment box below. We say no to online bullying, online harassment, and online hate. God bless each and every one of you.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.